liking Cody, Ceci, and Jason Ceci?
Yeah, I think Cody comes obviously as part of a pretty substantial trade, and I think the thing we like for him, he's still just 24 years old. He's got a lot of experience. He's played a lot of very difficult minutes there in Ottawa, and we just think that we can bring him in here, we can inundate him with our staff, and he'll probably play a little bit of a different role here in terms of the expectations and where he's at, and hopefully get him rolling. They've done a good job with him there in Ottawa. They've given him a lot of responsibility, and he's got some good experience as well. So using that, plus the fact that he's going to be an unrestricted free agent in a year, we hope that can certainly provide some incentive, and it could be a great thing, and we'll see where it goes after that.
And Jason?
Oh, and well, Jason, it's been we started having right after the interview period opened, we just checked in with him to see where he was at, and didn't really know. You hear a bunch of different rumors and different things that they're where he's going to end up, but he was interested. He came in, met with me last week, and then met with Mike a few days after that, and just seemed like the perfect fit in terms of what he can bring in terms of his experience. Kevin, he's sort of lived through early in his career in Ottawa, team, very high expectations, very good, young, talented team with a strong core, and having someone that's gone through that, went to a Stanley Cup final, and someone who's gone through that experience, and I think that can serve sort of as a mentor to our guys on the fact that, though you think that your team is extremely good and you're going to be doing this for a long time, the window can close, and not to take anything for granted. I think he's a guy still in search of a championship, and just his skill set, his ability to make plays to our talented forwards, his proficiency on faceoffs, all of that. In fact, he's from here and was willing to come here for the minimum, just in the spirit of things. It just made it a great fit for us, we felt.
What comment on the guys you lost, and how this is all kind of fired up the Ottawa-Toronto rivalry again?
I'll leave that for everybody in here to fire that up. I mean, it should be fun. The first game of the year should be a lot of fun. There's a lot. Basically, it feels like a third of our team or something like that from last year feels like they're there now with DJ. So I think, obviously Zaitsev, it's well known he'd requested a move, and we had gone through a lot of scenarios trying to accommodate that. As I told everybody in here, we needed to return a defenseman, and for us having some flexibility on the term of it, and that the dollars were somewhat similar was important, and so we feel we accomplished that with Cody. And then the Brownie's a tough one. He's a draft pick of ours. Grew up through the Marley system after playing in Erie, and has given the team, 3 very, very good seasons and parts of another one, and just a wonderful person on and off the ice. And he's been an important part of turning this team around, and sort of one of the first players to come right up through the system from his draft up. So really quality person and family, and we'll miss him dearly. It's unfortunate part of this is that sometimes guys like that, for reasons of cap and really nothing else, you have to try to find them a new spot, and so that stings a bit, because we'll miss Brownie here every day, and he's someone that's around all summer as well, being from Toronto and growing up playing for the Marlies, then playing for our own Marlies. So that's a tough one, but unfortunate part of this sometimes.
Moving forward, it's got to be asked what's going on in terms of Mitch. You were waiting for it.
I was ready, yeah. We're continuing to talk with Darren, and we'll continue to do so. And again, the quality of the person and foremost, and the player second. It's important to us that we find a way to get this done. I know I had set this as the priority, and looked at today as sort of a day we'd like to have it done by. And obviously, we don't have that yet, but we'll keep working away, trying to find a way to come to a good conclusion with Darren and Mitch, and roll from there.
Do you see Cody fitting into your top 4 next year, or do you kind of not know?
I think it's tough to answer, Jonas, where anybody fits. Morgan, I think, is clearly going to be in our top 4. Jake Muzzin will be in our top 4, and the rest will depend on where and who else kind of composes our defense. by opening night, and it's tough. I wouldn't even want to try to prognosticate that now. So we'll see where it all lands. But he's played in that role in Ottawa, and I think he would. In talking to him today, I think he's excited to come here, and I think with Morgan and with Jake, we've got it's 2 left-hand shots that we feel he could partner well with, but we'll see where that goes. I don't want to jam him into anything right now, and we'll see what comprises our D when we get there.
Do you believe there's anything to the second opportunity thing, player second team?
I think so. I think for all of these players, it exists, right? I think it exists certainly for Z. I think Z played a big role here and played a lot. I mean, that I don't know it applies as much to him, but I think certainly with Brownie, he showed in his rookie season that he could score, and then as our roster kind of evolved, he got sort of put into that very reliable defensive forward role, heavily relied on for the penalty kill, and showed he could play up and down our lineup. But I'm sure he's looking at Ottawa and thinking that he could get an infusion of offensive opportunity, which that'll be up to DJ and Pierre and their staff. But we'll be rooting for him. But I think with Cody and Ben Harper both, I think we're always hopeful that any player we bring in here, that we can get them into our development system, and we can find certain parts of their game that we can dig into, and hopefully we can improve. And I don't think any player has ever reached their maximum potential. There's always something, even players leaving here. I'm sure Ottawa looks at Z and Connor and thinks they can get something out of them, and Michael Carcone the same way. And I think we feel the same about the players that are coming here.
Stings a bit sending Brown in the trade. How did he take the news when he told him?
He was. It was an especially a tough weekend to deliver the news, because we have one former player and then one of our current players getting married, so all of our players are together at the time, and it just kind of sucks. I mean, you wish it was a quiet time when you get somebody when they were, at home and on their own, or you could, in his case, could even bring them in and tell them, and it just didn't work out that way. And I was disappointed calling to tell him, and I think, I heard Pierre's press conference before I came down here that he was excited. I would imagine he is excited to go there and perhaps get an increased opportunity, but I think there was some disappointment. It's going to be tough. He brings a lot to, not just to our on-ice play, but to our locker room and to our organization every day. So it's a tough one of the tougher ones, certainly since I've been here.
Well, you've been on the podium. The news just broke that the Habs have offer-sheeted Sebastian Aho. Okay. Are you comfortable that you have maneuvered yourself well enough that you can defend off an offer sheet for Mitch if that comes?
Well, I think we still have. I mean, we've got lots of cap space. We've got different options. Brandon Pridham is. I mean, the work that he's done in the last month, he's going to need he's going to get a well-deserved vacation, I think, once all this wraps up. But he and Lawrence have really worked steadfastly, primarily Brandon, on making sure that we're protected to evaluate every single thing that comes in here, and I feel we're well set up for whatever comes our way. But again, our primary ambition is to try to find an agreement with Mitch.
Just to circle back on Jason, did the importance of him coming home and playing in Toronto factor in these discussions at all, considering he is taking much less than he was earning in Dallas?
Yeah, I don't know if he's answered that today, but in our discussions, I think it's certainly important. Was certainly important to him. So, he gets a chance to play at home. He's got a young family, and I think it's a unique opportunity for him to, especially where our team is at, with what he could add to our team. But I think everybody sort of envisions that, right? The homecoming at the end, it's sort of a fairy tale, and you hope it ends in a fairy tale way. And I think that's up to us to continue to build the team and give that opportunity.
Can you comment on your depth that you've added that might be able to transition from the Marlies to the Leafs at any given point this season?
I think we spent a lot of time last year and just looking at it and trying to. I think our younger forwards and even our younger D are getting closer and closer and pressing. And what we wanted to do was make sure that we're well covered, Paul, for whatever comes next season. So, whether it's injury or competition in camp or waiver related stuff as we experienced last year, we want to make sure that we've got a variety of players that are versatile in their own right, that can play both sides of defense, that can play both wings and play center, and just really build as versatile a team as we can with limited cap space. And I think the selling point to players has been the opportunity that's here, and with our cap situation, there is going to be, like this camp more than any other camp, you'll see real battles for the bottom spots on both forwards and D, and combine that with the injuries to Hyman and Dermott to start. So we're excited about that. And it gives some of these guys a great chance in training camp and exhibition, and they've all been told the same thing. They'll have the chance to earn it, and it'll be up to them, and then we'll make those decisions on October 1st or September 30th.
We've asked you a lot about offer sheets in the last few months, but without being specific, but as a member of the GM's fraternity, it's been a while since one's been put out there.
What is this one for, by the way?
8.4.
Times 5.
Okay.
Are you surprised? You know, we've heard a lot of talk, but GMs are always saying, like, well, we'll wait, you know, kind of wait till the first one comes out. Are you kind of surprised that one has come out now? Because it's been a long time since one's been put out.
Yeah, but I've not been in the league when there's been one, so at least I don't think everyone will correct me quick. Yeah, 2013, I think. So I get, you know, it's part of the CBA and it's within the rules, right? So I get why at times you may not think it's the proper thing to do or the right thing to do, not in terms of your relationships with the other GMs, but just in terms of the cost of getting the player to sign and then the compensation that goes along with it. So I guess I'm not surprised. I think you see a lot of teams had situated themselves well to make them, and teams that also situated themselves well to match or to make the decision at the time, and so that's it's interesting, it's new, it gives us all something to talk about and debate, which is nice, but yeah, I think I'm not surprised, I guess I would say.
But you said all along that was something that was a contingency that you prepared for the whole time.
Right. I think you have to. I think if we just went out and today spent everything and left nothing, and you know, if you go back even to when Andreas and Kasperi were restricted as well before we got those things taken care of. You know, we wanted to be especially mindful of that it was a realistic opportunity. They're very, very good young players that have already proven themselves to be and you know, guys that are going to be very good in the NHL and have played well. And in Mitch's case, you know, he's a star in the NHL. So you have to be mindful of that and leave yourself protected and well situated to defend whatever may come your way, or at least give yourself the ability to make a well-rounded decision and not a defensive one.
See, figuring out the top of the defense now, is like the door closed on Jake, and could you envision moving Muzzin to the right? Is that the talk?
I think we're open to anything. I think in a perfect world, like with any team, you'd like to give the coach 3 lefts and 3 rights and call it a day, and I know the coach would like that as well. But you know, I think you don't want to sacrifice too much quality either. I don't think the door it's certainly not closed on Jake, but you know, he's totally unrestricted right now and can be having all types of discussions, and we're very limited with what we can do, as you know, we've just talked about, just making sure that we're well protected for whatever comes our way. So the door's not closed. I think we'll continue to investigate all avenues to improve our defense, and you know, as I said at the beginning, Mitch is priority 1, but number 2 is going to be continuing to improve there if we can, and Travis's surgery and injury certainly adds a little bit of complexity to that, because we are counting on him to contribute this season, and we don't want to rush him back because of what his potential dictates to our team. So it's trying to sort through all that. All of that said, you know, between our guys that have been with especially our 2 young guys with the Marlies this year, and then the other players that have taken big steps, your Rosens, Borgmans, et cetera, in addition to the Sandin, Lilligrens, and you've got, you know, Hall on the team and so on and so forth. You know, I think we've got some good options there that we'll explore.
Where could Harper fit into all that?
And so I think Ben, for us, everything we've heard today from coaches who've had him and going through our due diligence with Ben, I think the key thing is, you know, if you can build up his confidence and get him rolling, I think, you know, he obviously brings some physical elements that are very unique throughout the league, just in general. It's a large defenseman. So I think for us, if we can really dial in on his play with the puck, and he can spend some time, we can give him some direction here in the summer of what we're expecting from him. I've talked to him today and his agent as well about that. We'll see, but I think he was really making great strides in that regard near the end of his time in Belleville, right when they signed him to the extension that he's currently on. And we're hopeful that we can bring him in here, and he doesn't have to do much. Just if he can move the puck 5-10 feet, get the puck, pass the puck to our forwards, we'll be happy.
With Dermott, did you anticipate when the season ended that he was going to need the surgery, or was that something about? It
was we knew that it was a possibility at the time, and after consultation in the I think it was the 2 weeks following the season, it was determined that was going to be the best course, just to make him feel confident about the situation moving ahead, and to just kind of put it to rest forever. Versus if he came back next year and something else happened to the shoulder again, then he's out 6 months in the season, and then we're really in trouble.
And him and Hyman are still on the same path. No update on there when they might be that they'll be back before the season.
I saw Hyman on Twitter today being thrown up into the air 6 feet at the wedding. So I think we're on course there. And yeah, Travis is in our facility every day working hard, and there's been no setbacks at all. So, but the key with them is I can't stress enough that the 6 months is the minimum, and we need to make sure that they're set up for the long haul versus rushing them back in.
Reports of you doing a couple of small things.
Yeah, we've got a number of smaller sort of depth signings and guys we think that can challenge for the team, but until we get them back and official, I know it's this year especially, it seems like everything, before you even get the contracts back, it's out there. So kudos to the media assembled here and elsewhere, but until we get those back in and they're officially done, then I can't comment on them.
Might they be announced today?
It depends on Brandon finalized them. He's got a lot on the go up there. So him finalized and being in touch with different agents, and we've got quite a few of those sort of in the hopper. So we'll hopefully in the next day or week or whatever it takes here, as the U.S. goes on holiday as well, get them all tidied and done. So perfect. Okay, thanks everybody. See you soon. Thank you.